Do you hear the birds?
My name's Sansi, and this is Boat Float Messages. You know, we gotta have some fun. Angle you. Alright, welcome. We are doing things a little differently today, so join me. Well, you're already joining me, so thanks for being here. We're doing something a little different, and today, please tell me I'm not gonna hit all those things. Today, we are doing our messages on the water, and I'm getting very upset that this is getting water all over me. Okay. All right. Now, this is not going the way I planned. Okay. Welcome to Boat Float Messages. So today, we are on the lovely angel boat for your messages today. A little bit different. So, the time has come. You've been summoned here with me in this boat because there's some divine things that need to be shared for you. And it's wild because as I'm sitting here, the boat is literally turning in the complete opposite direction I just rotated us. So already we've got some clarity coming in of how you're being redirected. Everything that you think is your life up right now is redirecting you in some way to exactly where you are meant to be. So exactly where you're meant to be. Like the current is moving you in the direction of where you're meant to go. And you've been fighting it because it's felt really uncomfy. Like let's just be real here. There's some major discomfort in these energies right now. You are not alone. You are not alone. So, we're reading from the Sacred Destiny Oracle today. I'm actually really excited for this reading because as much as there's been some chaos, there's been some weird energy lately, there's also some really great excitement. And it's definitely got you antsy. It's got you unable to sit still. Even though stillness can really be your friend in this time, but the insight is coming through in this energy. Yes, as much as stillness is necessary, there is so much benefit in movement. This energy is trying to get you to move. It's wanting you to start moving that energy, and it's really interesting because if you're not moving, you're then ending up in some not so great waters. So you're gonna bear with me throughout this entire message, this entire reading, because we're in a boat, okay? In my f***ing pajamas. This is the level of raw and real here, all right? It's not pretty. It's not put together. Here's my perfect little spot to share the message. Nothing ever goes wrong. This is my flavor of magic, and this is my way of, the universe just keeps saying to me, this is how you need to express things, and it's going to seem chaotic, and you're not sure if other people are going to like it, but, you're here for something different. You're here to move with something different, and some people are really going to jive with that, and some people really aren't. And this is so much of the clarity you're also receiving when it comes to standing in your authenticity, that some people are going to jive with it, and there's going to be some people that really f***ing don't. And you can't let those people who really don't jive with it be what holds you back from jiving with your vibe. So right now, we are paddling against quite the current. And the symbolism of this current is the current of everyone else's opinions. Everyone else's opinions, everyone else's criticisms or judgments about how you want to move, how you want to live. And I know, I'm sorry, this isn't the greatest angle for you to be watching me from for this, but this is not how I intended this reading to go. I was like, oh, it'll be a nice, casual, gentle boat float, and I'll pull some cards. Now, universe is right now you're gonna need to paddle up, you're gonna have to paddle against the current of what everyone else is telling you to do. Wow, how hilarious that my phone, are we gonna hit a stick? My phone just naturally angled up this way. Thanks, universe. Thanks for re-angling us so you guys can actually see me. Alright, we're coming into beaver territory. So, beavers, don't mind me. I'm trying to go the other way. But, whew, we have quite the current today. So, you've been feeling yourself having to go against the current of what everyone else around you is doing, and how that feels really f***ing uncomfortable. It's not fun, okay? Like, living a life of your authenticity is at times f***ing embarrassing because you have to get through the current waves of all the conditioning, all those limiting beliefs that tell you, like, it's cringe to be, like, unique and to stand out. And, like, you know what's cringe to me? It's actually cringe when people are boring. It's actually cringe when people have the personality of a cardboard box, okay? Like, you are here to be this wild person because your wildness, your authenticity is magnetic, and it's wild. You know, as you get through all this shit back here of that current, that paddling through that conditioning, paddling through, you know, the waves of everyone else's judgments and criticisms, once you get to the other side of that, the water is calm. Like, the water is calm. You've just been you've been paddling through some really thick currents of projections, objections, some really thick currents of people's opinions, because it's weighed so heavily on you, and now you're realizing, like, oh, I can't actually live that way anymore. You can't. It's actually f***ing exhausting. So, alright, now that we've made our way to some better waters here, so I know, you're sweating. We'll just fan you out a little bit. I know, it's a lot of work. But it's worth it. We've already been hearing quite a bit of sirens today. It's kind of felt like a interesting insight here. So, yeah, cool down. Take a breather. This is what the universe is reminding you. Like, as much as you're moving through those currents, like, you gotta sit down and take a breather when you need it. Like, it's been 8 minutes. Like, I can't believe that was just 8 minutes of my life paddling through the water. Okay. Exhibit A. You've been paddling through some really challenging waters. So, like, you need to give yourself the moments and the time to, like, sit, chill, breathe. Like, f***ing breathe. We're actually going to drop anchor here. I usually do not drop the anchor in this boat. But, you know, besides the fact that my anchor is a twisted knot. But, you know, guess we're not dropping anchor. So if you look around at all of your life, you'll see symbolism everywhere that's trying to speak to you. Your anchor's twisted in a knot. Your anchor has been tethering you to all these old ways of being that aren't who you actually are. That have tethered you to these projections and limitations that are not yours. To people who are trying to penetrate your consciousness with their limiting beliefs. And we're already drifting. So we're going to untangle the knots in your anchor right now so we can anchor you in these calmer waters that feel better for you, because that's where you're meant to be. All right? So that's what this time is. You're actually unraveling the knots in the anchor that have kept you in dynamics, kept you in situations, kept you tolerating shit and fucking believing things that really don't serve you anymore. Look at that. Just as you start untangling, you know, it's actually like that untangling process doesn't have to be messy. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. You're being guided to move with more slowness. Alright, look at that. We got a little bit more knots out of here. Doesn't need to be perfect yet because we're just going to drop it in the water. So we just need to unravel this enough so that we can drop this in because we're already drifting. You've been drifting out of your calmness. You've been letting other people's bullshit influence your life. You've been letting other people's bullshit beliefs influence how you see yourself. Influence what you think is possible for you. Alright, I'm just going to drop this in. Might be really deep here. I don't know. Oh, it's not that deep actually. Look at that. It's not that deep actually. Other people's projections of you, other people's limitations that they've tried to place upon you, you sat here and thought, oh, they're so deep. It goes so deep. It's not that deep. It's not that deep. Alright, so now that the boat float chaos has subsided a little bit, I don't even know if our anchor is actually holding us in place. I don't think it is. We're sitting in quite a bit of water, okay? Boat float chaos. This is not what I was anticipating! Anyway, thanks for staying for 12 minutes while we've navigated the chaos. Because the universe literally just said to me today, oh, you should go do a message out on the boat. Boat float messages. That's what you're to do today. And it was like, okay, this sounds fun. It's been a bit chaotic, but we're now feeling that steadiness. Sometimes you have to move through the chaos before you can reach the steadiness. And I know right now it has felt chaotic. Let's be real here. With these energies, it has felt so chaotic for many of us. You know, where a lot of us are going through quite a bit and we're like, what is this energy? You've been going through a lot of big transitions. I know for myself, those big transitions have been unfolding in many ways. Those of you who don't know my story or my current experience, because I haven't shared it here, I just ended an 8-year, almost 9-year relationship. And it's been bringing a lot of awareness into my life in many ways.
Okay, so it's editing Kaelin here, and we're about probably 2 months, maybe 3, maybe longer since I actually recorded this video, and it felt like I just needed to share this to honor the versions of me who recorded this, who had the bravery and the courage to actually hit record and share the messages. And so, like, I just need to say hi as, like, this version editing Kaelin over here. Yeah, I left the 9-year relationship. I'm in a better place, and I'm so excited to actually be sharing these messages with you guys because, like, yep, Chachi agrees over there in her box. She agrees. Yeah, I just feel like it's important to let the different versions of me be seen. Because in that dynamic that I was in previously, they weren't able to. Yeah. Chachi making her cameo in this episode. And the wisdom that came through in this video came deep from my spirit that knew where I was going, even though my human self had no idea. And so I just want to share this video with you because this version of me, I have so many videos of different versions of me that never got to be seen, and realizing now that, like, it's so important for those versions of me to have their expression. And so here's just an older video that feels really aligned to share at this time with you. Chachi making her cameo. And so yeah, this is me editing me coming to you from the other side of the pond after a lot of transformation. And so while you listen to this message, my intention is for you to trust what comes through that feels aligned and resonant, and what doesn't feel resonant isn't meant for you, and to just receive what is wanting to be delivered to you at this time. That the current that you might be in right now may feel murky and hard to move through, but like your spirit knows. Your spirit knows the direction of where you're going. And so let this message just be like a wink from the universe. Let it just be a message delivered from one angel to another.
So we're going to read from the Sacred Destiny Oracle. We're 15 minutes in, so thanks for staying for the 15 minutes of chaos and fun for Boat Float messages. We're going to actually get into the message now. I mean, it's all a message. It's all a message. There's messages everywhere that are here to support you, here to help you, here to guide you. You just aren't looking. Or you're just not focused on it. You're too busy focused on other people, what other people are doing, or what they're not doing. You're focused on how other people in your life aren't showing up for you, but then it's also reflecting to you where you're not showing up for you. I know. Sorry, I should have held your hand for that one. But Sacred Destiny Oracle today, yeah, first card you have coming out is change. That like this time is bringing a lot of change into your life. And I know right now things feel really uncertain and you're like going into panic mode, and that is not going to help you. This time is guiding you to actually surrender to what's unfolding. Okay, you're feeling how things are changing. Can you just surrender to the experience without needing to figure it out? I know, sometimes easier said than done. Where this time is guiding you to actually zoom out and realize that the old ways of, I gotta logic my way through this, I have to figure out the practicality of it, is not going to work. Because this new paradigm that you're moving in doesn't move from that energy anymore. And you might be seeing how other people in your life, they are still moving from that practicality, and so you feel this pressure for you to also move that way. And I think that's where you've kind of gotten hung up. You felt a lot of challenges and struggles in that because all you see around you is other people leading from practicality. It's so funny. This was on the bottom of the deck earlier, and it is right now. So definitely wanting to come through that. Like, it's time for you to start taking risks in how you move forward in your life. And those risks aren't necessarily going to come from figure it out with practicality. It's going to be sit back, receive what the universe wants you to do, and as soon as you receive that insight, it's time for you to step up and start taking that action and showing up for yourself in your life. Because other people can't show up for you, you know, in the ways that you might necessarily need, because you're being called to show up for you in that way. Yeah, to be the energy that you wish to receive. It's a very interesting energy that's coming through here. Yeah, purification. You've got things that are clearing out right now, which is why this time feels really uncomfy, because things that can't come with you moving forward, certain beliefs, certain ways of being, certain ways of seeing yourself, certain embodiments of yourself. It's this energy that I'm getting that, like, you've moved from this wounded you for a long time, and it's like you feel the distinction between, like, wounded version of you and this expanded aspect of you that is moving from the quantum self, that's moving from the version of you that already has what it is you desire. Because this has continued to be a theme that has been shifting my life a lot lately, and so it's definitely wanting to be shared right now, that, like, you're not manifesting the thing, you're manifesting the version of you that already has the thing. So right now, you've been looking at the practicality of, oh, I gotta manifest the practicality of all these things that I want, and then it's stressing you out, it's giving you migraines, it's just not working, and you're feeling overwhelmed because that's not your method anymore, that's not your equation. You can't be moving from an old equation anymore because it's actually not benefiting you. Because it's not your equation, it just won't compute in your life. And so while you've been getting frustrated living by an old equation, you have this other aspect of yourself over here that already has what you want. You're already connected with that version of you. You're not separate from that version of you. And you're now beginning to tap back into that version of you, to anchor into that version of you. You've been anchored in the wounded version of you, holding on to the limitations that were placed upon you that weren't even your own. So now you're realizing, like, okay, I can choose to show up from this quantum aspect of myself that already has what I desire. What is that version of you doing? How is that version of you being? How is that version of you look at themselves? And sometimes you need to actually sit down and write these things out just so you can attune to that energy. that's like, okay, what's the version of me that I desire to be? How are they showing up? How are they showing up? How are they moving? How are they living their life? Are they trying to logically figure it all out? No. No. So you've got here that, like, through this purification, through this release, you're definitely going through some powerful releasing right now, releasing these old ways of being, releasing that old anchor in the wounded aspect of you. And instead of seeing yourself from this place of, oh, I've been so wounded in all these ways, and here's all the traumas that's happened in my life, and like you've identified with that in some ways and made that like your identity, and now you're moving beyond that to, instead of being anchored in this person and this version of you who went through all this wounding, you're now anchoring into this version of you that is embodied in the wisdom that you gained from all of that. You're now embodied in the version of you who's like, yeah, I went through those things, but this is what all those things taught me, so I wouldn't want it any different. Because all those things taught you all sorts of lessons, taught you so many things about your power, taught you so many things about who you actually are. And so as you're letting go of living from this wounded version of you and seeing yourself in that disempowered lens, like, there's been a lot of themes lately around having the awareness of what lens are you expressing yourself from and what lens of awareness are you living from. Are you living from the disempowered lens, or are you living from the empowered lens? And that's the difference between the wounded you is moving from this disempowered lens of awareness and like almost like this, literally like looking through this window of disempowerment, and the quantum aspect of you that you're already connected with, that you're already quantumly entangled with, that you're not separate from, that version of you is moving from empowerment. Instead of seeing themselves as a victim, they see themselves from this place of like, wow, I went through all these shitty things, but look at all the wisdom that I gained from it. This taught me all these things that I don't know if I ever would have learned had I not gone through those challenges. I've seen this reflected in my own life through, this recent relationship that I had to finally say I love myself too much to allow myself to be mistreated by someone else's pain anymore. So you've got here through this purification process. I know it's not comfortable right now, but this purification is what's clearing out the weeds in the garden so that whatever you are planting actually has fertile soil to grow. You've been tending to other people's gardens, and it's time to zoom out from tending to other people's gardens and start zooming in on tending to your own. Because you've got here through this purification that there's happiness coming in here, and it's not just like surface level happiness, of getting the thing you want. It's this fulfillment of being who it is you've desired to be for a long time, but you felt held back from being. You felt like there were things that held you back, or people that held you back from really moving as this authentic, genuine version of you that you wanted to be. And the deeper root here being that, like, thinking you were too much. Yeah, interesting. So this new energy that's already unfolding in your life is bringing forth more flow. Like, it's saying to you that you need to flow with life rather than fight against the current of what other people think. Because what you think needs to become more important than what other people think. How you think about yourself needs to be more important than every other person around you who has some sort of judgment about you stepping outside of the confines of the spell of society and outside of the confines of limitation. I don't even know what just came through there, but this is how it works when you channel. It's just like streaming in. And I'm just the vessel for the universe to move through. And that's how you are in your life, too. You are the vessel for Source to move through. But if you're letting all of these limitations get in the way, you're blocking what's wanting to come through you. Because you're placing all your focus on all these other people and all their judgments and all this stuff. And it's just like, not yours. Not yours. You have the discernment now that's like, when someone's energy is not yours. And when someone's shit that's in your field is not yours. And when you notice it, don't just keep focusing on, oh my God, there's this thing over here. It's just like, that's not mine. So I don't have to leave my focus over there. I can bring my focus back to what it is I want to do, what I want to be. Because the shift here that's happening isn't just in what you're doing. It's the shift in who you're being, who you're embodied in. And you're doing it. You're already doing it. Like, if this chaotic boat float message video found you, you are already doing it. You're already moving as that version of you that you desire to be. But part of you still keeps kind of getting hung up a little bit on the past. Getting hung up a bit on all those ways that you've been wounded, that you think are holding you back. And at the end of the day, those things aren't actually holding you back. It's you. It's you. Because you've continued to entertain your limitations. Yes, hello? Do you have a message? Come on down. No, you're shy? Okay, that's what I thought. So, this energy here is, I'm getting, it's reinstating a new flow in your life. A flow that you used to live by, but then when you started doing that, you had a lot of people who had some opinions about it. And as a result of the discomfort of those opinions and other people's treatment, you shrunk yourself. So you're now moving beyond shrinking yourself because you're realizing how it feels more uncomfortable to shrink yourself than it is to shine, than it is to expand and be all of who you are. And you're already starting to realize that as you let yourself expand more, it doesn't feel, you don't feel this contraction in your life. You don't feel like you can't breathe. It actually starts to feel really good. And that feeling feels so good that instead of focusing on all the other people that like want you to shrink and they try to make you feel bad when you start like really taking up that space, you just need to keep your focus on how good it feels to be expanding. And that needs to, like, how you feel needs to be more important than other people's opinions about who you're being. Because you're moving through so, like, oh my God, like, I just want to give you the biggest hug because you're moving through so much deep shit of your lineage, so much deep shit that is, like, shifting realities just by being who you're choosing to show up as now. And there's this enlightenment card here, which I don't see this card as, like, how most people would read it. I actually read it from this place that, like, you're connected and quantumly entangled with everything. You're not separate from all of life, and you're coming back to that reminder. You're coming back to not even just that as a reminder, but that just as, like, a core foundational knowing in your existence, in your experience, that you are connected with everything. And everything is here to help you in some way. But if you're always seeing things from that disempowered lens, you're always seeing how life's against you. These people are against you. And it's like, what if all the challenges that you went through was the catalyst for all of your transformation? Like, this purification card is so representative of the catalysis that is happening right now. I don't know if that's a real word, but I like it and it sounds good and it feels good. So you're experiencing this big catalysis in your life, as in there's so many things in your life that are catalyzing you into moving with your expansion because it feels too uncomfortable to keep shrinking. This energy is also bringing forth that this new way of being that's calling you to show up in this new embodiment isn't calling you to move from pressure, to move from force, to like action it through in this old masculine way. It's actually calling you to move with a receptivity to all of life. That's where this like relaxation card is coming in. This doesn't mean that you don't take action, but it means you're not stressing yourself the fuck out while you're taking all that action. You're not going through like the hustle and grind and I gotta get up and I gotta be super consistent, because especially as a woman, your energy, your hormones aren't consistent every single day. The patriarchy has just been what has, convinced you that like that's how you need to move, but that's not actually your nature. And so this energy is bringing you back to moving with your nature. And like, look at that, the sun comes out. The sun comes out. Thank you, sun. Thank you, sun, shining some light on some powerful things in our lives. Yeah. That like this new relaxation is becoming your baseline. And yeah, there might be other people around you who they're working in a different flow and they're looking at you like, how dare you choose to move in a way that feels more conducive to your well-being? And you have to just remind yourself, like, this is your birthright, to move at your pace, to move at your flow. And other people, you're like, by you showing up in that, you're giving other people you're just like a walking permission slip that's like, oh, well, you can have this too. You can have that level of freedom too, because you've got here release, which is really you're releasing these old beliefs. You're releasing these old ways of being that have told you that, like, you don't get to have sovereignty and autonomy over your own life. And that's like the rooted belief here that's being uncovered is, you know, where in your life do you think you don't have the permission to show up in your autonomy? Because that's where you've been holding yourself back. In these areas of your life where you think that you have to wait for permission from someone else or from some external thing to fall out of the fucking sky and tell you that you have permission to be a fully autonomous being who's sovereign and can do whatever the fuck you actually want with your life. Because we need you to be fully expressed. But in you being fully expressed, we can't have you moving from this exhausting hustle and grind. That's actually not how you're meant to move. And this is the shift that's happening on the planet, as many of us are coming into this energy of realizing that that old paradigm is just so exhausting because it leads to burnout. So like this new embodiment that you're moving with is moving from a relaxed energy. It's that balanced nervous system. So I always like to call it a regulatory system instead, because the words you use influence your reality. So if we're always calling it a nervous system, it's always going to be fucking nervous, no matter how balanced it is. So, you know, this is what I like to call that a regulatory system. When you catch yourself saying certain words that really don't feel good anymore, you have the autonomy in your life to just choose something different, to choose a different way that you want to say something, because our language molds and influences our reality. So someone needed to hear that like, be mindful of how you're speaking about your reality. Are you speaking from this disempowered lens about your experiences, about the things you want to share, or are you speaking from an empowered lens? Because you're not going to get to feeling better in your life if you're always moving from a disempowered lens. Like, you just won't. And I say that also because I need to hear it. So you're releasing a lot at this time, so please be gentle with yourself. Let yourself move at the pace that you need to move at, and let yourself chill out and relax. Because the insights that are needing to come into your life, that are wanting to come into your life, they're not going to be coming in from you hustling and grinding and moving at 80 miles an hour. They're going to come in those quiet moments when you are relaxed. And so this is the new baseline that you're setting in your life, is this energy of relaxing as a baseline. And this doesn't mean that like you're lazy. It just means that you're so tuned into your body and what your body needs and how your body moves and where your energetic capacity is, that you're listening to that. That when your being is like, I am not in hustle and grind mode, you don't put yourself in hustle and grind mode. You have the autonomy and the freedom to move at your own pace. So you've also got here, you know, community and freedom. And by you showing up as this authentic version of you, which I know it feels scary, but like this is the potency of what you're stepping into. This isn't just a little baby shift in your life. Like this is a big shift, but you don't have to see it in this big serious way that like there's all these fucking steps you need to do and it feels so fucking overwhelming, because that's just your mind getting in the way. Your body already knows. Your body already knows what's on its way to you, and your mind is now catching up to accepting what the body knows. Your body already knows what's being released. Your body already knows what's being integrated. Your body already knows what's yours and what's not. Your body already knows that you're on the cusp of something big. You can feel it. So many of us can feel it, that we're on the cusp of something so big that it's going to shift every aspect of your life. And I don't say that to scare you about the bigness of it. I say that for you to actually get excited about it. Because the old paradigm you already feel doesn't feel good anymore. The paradigm of shrinking and, you know, not showing up fully expressed, it has become so fucking painful. And that's the catalysis. It's become so fucking painful to catalyze you into saying, I'm not living this way anymore. I'm not living this way anymore. I'm not tolerating this thing over here. I'm not tolerating this mistreatment over here. So freedom is here to support you. Like, you're now embracing your freedom in the sense of your sovereignty, your autonomy. Like, you have the freedom to be an autonomous being. Something only has power over you if you emotionally and energetically are giving it power over you. And that's what the whole inverted system doesn't want you to fucking know. It doesn't want you to know that you are a sovereign, autonomous being, and you are a being that lives by the laws of the land, not the laws of man. So they try to keep you distracted with all these other things, waiting for permission in every single fucking way of your life, so that you don't actually remember your sovereign autonomy. Someone need to hear that. So you've got here also that there's more solitude being called forth from you, because as you're integrating and anchoring into this new, it's not even this new version of yourself. It's like this version of you that you've been connected to for a long time. You've known it, that version of you's been there for a long time. You're like, oh, if only I could just be that version. I need to have this, and this in order to be that version of me. And it's like, no, it's the opposite. You get to show up in the energetic embodiment of like, I already see myself and know myself as this version of me that I see over here. Because you're not separate from it. You are tethered to that version of you. That's why you're connected to it. That's why you know what that version of you feels like. And so you're being called forth now to just attune, even if just in little moments of the day, attune to what does that version of you feel like? Because you're not separate from it. You're not separate from it. But in order for you to do that, you do need to have more time in solitude. Because if you're constantly surrounded by other people's energy, by other people's, just like, if you're just constantly surrounded by other people, it can sometimes be really difficult to actually discern what's yours, what's not, and then it's like you might have other people's chattering and judgments about who you're choosing to show up as. So, you know, this energy is really saying you need to give yourself more time in solitude so that you can actually, so you can actually be anchoring into who it is you want to be without outside interference. Yeah. Like, there's this insight here that, like, you've been trying to be the fixer for everyone, and, like, there's a part of you that's like, I'm done fixing other people. I'm done trying to help other people fix their problems. Like, that's their shit. That's their shit. So, like, you're being called to really step back from, like, pouring into everyone else's life, because, like, I received this insight the other day. If you're always pouring into other people's lives, before you fill up your cup, you're always going to feel energetically poor. And, like, I don't even like that word. Like, you know, we need to be, we need to be overflowing into ourselves first. And I know you've probably, like, always poured into other people, and it was like, well, from this place of wanting other people to like you, wanting other people to see your value, because you saw your worth and your value based on what you did and what you could do for other people. And that's just a fucking coping mechanism and an old fucking paradigm and an old way of being that you're releasing now, because you're realizing I have to actually overflow my energy into myself first so that I even have anything to give. So that you even have anything to give. Yeah. And you've got success coming in here. Like, this is already saying that, like, you're already experiencing success in releasing those old ways of being and letting go of those old habits and those old patterns, because that's just it. This time is showing you with so much clarity the patterns that have been running rampant in your life. And you're realizing, I can see this pattern. We've played this pattern out before. We've already learned the lessons of this pattern. And the shift now is, instead of saying, I see this pattern, and then you question yourself and questioning whether or not you're actually seeing the pattern, you just now you're like, that was where a big energetic leak was you questioning yourself. So now you're moving in this energy that's like, oh, I'm seeing this pattern. I don't need to play this pattern out again. And so you just don't anymore. That's the shift that's happening this time, where you see the pattern and you trust yourself on what's coming through for you, and you're trusting your own inner guidance that's saying, there's that pattern again. You're not crazy. You're just you have pattern recognition skills that are so on point. So when you're seeing the pattern play out again, you're just like, I'm not playing that game anymore. And so you show up different. Even if the other people involved in that pattern, or the other things involved in that pattern, are still moving in the same way, because it's a pattern. And this is the thing. Once you recognize the pattern, you realize that it's not you. And you realize that you're beyond it. And you realize that it doesn't hold power over you anymore. Because you can see it. Because you can see, oh, this is just a pattern that's played out in my life in multiple ways. And now I don't have to keep playing into the pattern, and that's the shift that's happening. That's the whole theme of this boat float message. You can see beyond the pattern, and you're no longer playing into the pattern anymore. You're reclaiming your power back from that pattern that has made you think that you don't have the autonomy to show up how you actually want. This jumped all over the place, so welcome to Chaotic Boat Float Messages. If you liked this video, let me know and we'll do some more chaotic messages and chaotic readings like this, because this was interesting. This was really fun for me to just, switch it up. Switch it up, because like the pattern for myself is usually to sit down and do the reading how I usually do, and today it was like, nope, you need to switch this up a bit. And so when you're feeling the guidance, it's like, ooh, let's switch up the pattern. Let's do this random spontaneous thing. Like, you're being guided to like jump into more spontaneity in how you choose to show up. Like, do that random thing that just is like, that would be really fun. I don't know how it would work out, but it'd just be really fucking fun. And like, the new energy saying, like, follow your fun. Follow your fun. Follow what's feeling good for you. This new chapter is about you prioritizing you feeling good. Zoom out on all the other bullshit of your life and start getting locked in on what feels good for me. And that's the direction that you're starting to move your life in. Because it's about to get really good. You already feel it. Your body already knows that, like, we're on the cusp of something big. Like, all the astrologers have talked a lot about how March is a very potent month, because we're marching into a new paradigm. Like, we don't dismantle the old systems and the old paradigms. Like, we shift our consciousness beyond them, and those old paradigms then become obsolete, because like everything's influenced by your consciousness. But that's another rabbit hole that we'll go down for another time. So if you liked this video of fucking chaotic boat float messages, please leave me a comment below. Like, comment with like the sailboat or like a boat emoji. I don't know if there's a boat emoji. I think there's a boat emoji. Comment with a boat emoji, and like, this helps me so I know who actually listens to the end of these videos, and that like you guys are my OGs, and that like when I read your comments of the emojis, like I just sent you just like a little sprinkle of love and sprinkle of appreciation for like actually listening to this whole message, because it means a lot to me. I never thought that people would actually give a fuck about what it is I've had to say, and I got a lot to say. So like, yeah, thanks for joining me here. It means a lot, and my soul is just really grateful for you guys. So I'll see you guys next time for some more chaotic boat float messages.